Your company is not you. And if you treat your company like you have the potential to lose and to lose everything. All right, let's talk about that today. First of all, let's get clear about something. Most people never get this right. I hate to see it happen, but it happens quite frequently. There's a major difference between you, the natural person, okay, that just smiling you, and your company, which is a judicial person. So here's you. You are a natural person, and this is a judicial person. Okay? All right. What's the difference between the two? You were born from a father and a mother, male and a female, and then you were born. So you have something that has a start date, a dash, and an end date. Yes, we have that. Now, a judicial also has a start date, a dash, and it can have an end date, but it can most likely outlive you. Yes, that is right. Now, what are some of the other basic differences between the two of them? So the judicial person could be the LLC, the C Corp, or the S. Okay? So we have we have those different, actually it can even be a trust. Okay? And there are other entities that it can be as well. But let's just keep those there. Now, again, let's break this down so that we understand who we are as a natural person, what do we have, what rights and responsibilities, and the same thing for the judicial person. All right, let's break that down. So, as a natural person, you have civil and human rights. The company does not, but it has legal rights. All right, so we got some legal rights here, and you have some civil and human rights. It's going to call it HR. So the company can own properties. The company can also sign contracts, hire people, and just as important as the natural person, it carries its own set of liabilities, as well as obligations, taxes, compliance, filings, and sometimes even lawsuits, just like the natural person. But that's just where big division comes in. We're going to talk about that in just a second. So let's talk about those liabilities, because this is where people get into trouble. A natural person is personally liable unless protected. A legal person has his own liabilities. And that's pretty much the entire reason why you want to form a judicial entity, so that you can create a shield. Let's put that shield in yellow. Yes, let's get that shield all around our corporation, our judicial entity. And when you mix the two, the money, actually, let's do that in green because that's the color of our money, okay? So when you mix the two, that's when you pierce that veil. That's where you have to be extremely cautious because it's very, very easy to do, especially for people that are just getting started in business. And again, we mentioned our lifespans, okay? We have a limited lifespan, and the business can have unlimited lifespan. But it can also be dissolved. It can be sold, or it can be merged or passed on to somebody else, or even to another company. Your purpose is personal, but your company's purpose is operational. It's profits, service, and structure. Now, why is this important? Why does it matter? Because if you see yourself separately, you will think separately, and this requires a little bit of a different mindset. I'm going to talk about that here in just a second. But the most important thing about this is that if you know that you're a natural person, or you're acting as the judicial person, you will act differently because you have different responsibilities and liabilities. So right now it's a good time to go ahead and hit that like and follow button, because I create more videos like this, and I am just excited to share this information with you. But hey, come back over here. We're going to probably call this video "My Board Gone Wild." Now let's break down a part that I think that is extremely important for all business owners out there, especially if you're just going through the different levels and you're starting to grow your business. We have our new book out there, The 5 Levels of Entrepreneurial Growth, and we break this down. But in level number 1, you are the professional. This is you. This is you trying to start a new business. You're out there, you're out there looking for. All right, so let's break down what some of the differences are between the natural person, which is you and me, and the judicial entity or the judicial person. Okay? And this is the natural person. That's us, you and me. Now, a couple of big differences. We come to be because we are born. Again, we have a beginning and we have an end, but we are born. So we come into existence because two people got together and they created us. The judicial person also becomes when one or more people decide that they want to do business as a judicial person or a judicial entity. And again, those can be the LLC, those can be an S, can be a C Corp, can be a trust, okay? And there's a couple of other entities out there, but we'll keep it at this for now. Now, what is the difference between the two? This one, two people bring you into life. This one or more can bring you into life. But for this one, just like the natural person, somebody had to go to the hospital and pay the doctors and pay the hospital. Now, your parents did that. And here, we are the parents. But in order for this to happen, that LLC or that S Corp or C Corp or trust must go, let's say that it's going to go to your state office, okay? And then it's going to file some documents, okay? And documents over incorporation, and if it is a corporation, you're going to have your bylaws, or if you're going to have an agreement, if you're going to be an LLC. So this is what's going to happen. This company needs to file these documents on itself in order to be created, even though it has the sponsors that are going to be doing it. But in order to do that, that costs money. Okay, because you got to do all the filing documents. You may have to go and open a bank account in that business name as well. But that business has not generated any income as of yet. We have. So we have to loan money to this company in order for it to get started. Let's just say that we're going to loan the company $1,000, just to make this simple. Okay, just to get started so that it can pay for the filing fees and so forth. As soon as it is established, it must create a loan document so that it can justify this $1,000 that went into the bank account, and then we can start deducting some of the expenses, okay, that we have had, and then we can come up with a balance. Okay, so as we give this thing, something like that, as we start building our business, we have to understand that by its own nature, a corporation or any legal entity is always going to start in debt. While us, the natural persons, we try to keep a 30% usage of our credit and, try not to get into debt, a corporation, by its own nature, will always start in debt. And it will continue to be in debt through its life. And what companies are looking, or banks in this case, what they're looking for is if you can service the debt. This is what they're looking for. Now, companies, in order for them to expand, they must borrow money. In order to buy machinery, they must borrow money. So they will always be in debt. So this is where our thinking needs to change. This is different. Here, we try to stay solvent. Here, we don't want to get into too much debt. Our credit rating is going to go down. We got to keep it at 30%. Oh my God, because you're going to go to the bank and buy a house. They're going to look, hey, your debt to income ratio is too high. We can't. In the business is different. Businesses are looking, can you service the debt? We understand that you want to grow. We understand that you have machinery. We understand that you have orders. Maybe you have future orders. You haven't collected on them yet, but you can show that to the bank and say, hey, listen, I have the potential for ROI, return on an investment. And that return on an investment is going to allow me to service the debt. As we're getting started in our businesses, the one thing that happens is that our thinking has to shift. In order to run a business, we have to run a business with a debt mentality. Can we service it? What is what is going to be our return on investment? What is going to be our earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization? We got to start thinking a little bit differently, because here we're also going to have a profit and loss statement. We're also going to have an income statement. Okay, so we're going to have different documentations. It's actually going to be the report cards for the business. How is the business really doing? But that's a different kind of thinking. And the most important part in here is for us to understand that as soon as we think that we're going to go from a level 1 professional and we want to shift into self-employment or a small business or an entrepreneur or a CEO of a business, we must think about that a little bit differently. For example, there are areas of the business that you're going to have to borrow money for machinery. Maybe you're going to have to expand the footprint of where your business is at. Perfect. Maybe now you acquire a new place and you have to fix it up in order to bring customers in there. Excellent. Okay. But also, and most important, we need to work on this part of us. Okay. Yes. Our mindset has to change. So just as you're growing from the different levels of entrepreneurship, you're going from level 1 to level 2, level 3, level 4, and level 5, your mindset is going to have to shift. Now, you're going to have to start thinking like this person over here, the business owner. What does that business owner need? He needs to invest in the machinery and the equipment, okay, and the footprint. And it also needs to invest in people's potential, including yours. So that means that you need to invest either in coaches, in masterminds, and so forth, because you cannot be the smartest person in the room. If you're the smartest person in the room, I guarantee that you're in the wrong room. Okay, so I want you to keep that in mind. As you grow in your business, the one thing that you want to have to focus on is that your mindset, okay, needs to keep up with the growth of your business. Because in order to, you can get to $100,000 by yourself. That is not a problem. Okay, we do that all the freaking time. You know, $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 a month, that is easy. $100,000 a month is easy. The same thing, let's just say that you are just striving to get an extra, $150,000 to $200,000 a year. Perfect, not a problem. You can do that by yourself, maybe even with 1 or 2 VAs to help you, so the fulfillment and some of the things that you're doing. But in order to get to $1 million a year, you need a team. And the team that gets you to $1 million is not the same team that's going to get you to 10. The thinking is different. You will have to morph and replace that team as you're growing along because you need different skill sets. And the skill sets come from education. They come from developing your mindset as well. So I want you to keep that in mind. In the book, 5 Levels of Entrepreneurial Growth, we go through the 5 levels and we break this down in a little bit more readable fashion so that you understand what your thinking is and what are the things, the criteria that you have to fulfill in order to go from one level to the next. But most importantly here, I want you to understand that your mindset has to change and the business runs on debt. While you may run on cash flow, the business also needs cash flow, absolutely. But banks are looking at the service of the debt in order for you to be able to grow your business. So I want you to think about that. My name is Ruben, and I wish you nothing more than the best. I'll see you in the next video.